Don't you ever get tired of watching other people win and succeed while you sit on the sidelines and watch life pass you by? And growing up, this was always something that was in the back of my mind. It was something that I was deathly afraid of, just being a spectator in life. Now, I don't want anyone to misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you should want to see other people lose because seeing them win makes you feel jealous and insecure. Like, that's low IQ, right? And maybe a part of this is just having an ego, but it's something that I always felt deep down inside. You know, it's funny, I remember when I was in high school and the basketball team was pretty good. They were relatively good. And back then the games were like these big social events where all the kids from every school in our grade and our class, everybody would come together and watch these games. You know, everybody would meet up and wear school t-shirts and paint their faces and things of that nature. It was like this big social event on a Friday evening. And I would always have a few friends that would ask me to go and watch with them, but I would have absolutely no interest in going to the games and just sitting on the sidelines watching. Like, you know, just having to see your crush on the other side of the arena cheering for the players on the court. You know, it does make you feel some type of way if you have a competitive edge to you. And some people might say, oh, it's not that deep, but it kind of is, because every guy that's on the sideline watching, all the fans, they secretly wish that they were the players on that court. And of course, this applies to everything, right? I'm just using basketball as an example. For example, right, every single guy who's ever hooped before, although most guys accept early on that, okay, maybe I'm probably not going to the NBA. Maybe you can play pro or overseas or something like that. But the fact remains that every single guy who's ever hooped before has secretly fantasized about being in an NBA Finals Game 7. I know for a fact that every single guy has secretly fantasized about hitting that game winner. Every single guy wants to be that guy, if you're being honest. And some people might think that's extreme and it's fine to be a fan and sit on the sidelines, but having the mindset where you don't want to be that guy is what makes you tunnel vision on your own life and your own goals. You know, you're less susceptible to distractions or looking to the side or trying to live vicariously through someone else. And again, I'm using basketball as an example, but if I'm not going to be the one that's on the field, the player in the game, the one on the court, then I have absolutely no interest in being a spectator and feeling some sort of attachment towards someone else's accomplishments that has no effect on my life. And I feel the same way about a lot of things. And it's kind of funny that I'm saying this now because when I was in college, my sisters got me a Stephen Curry jersey. And back then to me, that was like the best gift ever. I wore it all the time. I went to college in SoCal, so back then a lot of people were Lakers or LeBron James fans. And every single time the Warriors would beat the Lakers or LeBron or Steph would have a pop-off game for 30 and 40, I would wear my Stephen Curry jersey and be on campus all day and just walk around. And I'm not gonna lie, it felt kind of good to rub it in. And that was the first time I actually resonated with what it meant to be a sports fan. And back then when Warriors were having their run with KD, I think I watched every single playoff game. And I remember that feeling when they won. It felt good in that moment, like, yeah, we won. But then the next day I was like, damn, I really just invested hours of my energy and my life to something that has no attachment towards me, no benefit towards me. Like, I'm walking around in college with this Steph Curry jersey and I'm celebrating another man's accomplishment. He would have a win, he would have a really pop-off game, and I would wear his jersey to celebrate another man's accomplishments. Like, I'm trying to attach myself to his accomplishments because I secretly wish that I was that guy. I'm wearing another grown man's name on my chest, on my back. That essentially makes me his bitch. And I still have the jersey, but ever since then, I haven't put it on because it just feels weird. Now, obviously, don't get me wrong, right? I'll still watch games or sports every now and then with my friends because it's a bonding experience. Like, I remember when my friends and I were traveling, we stayed up to 3 a.m. in Italy watching NBA playoffs. Like, I'll still watch in that regard because it does have benefit, but I won't attach myself to it. And I personally think that that's the healthiest relationship you can have with entertainment. But yeah, it's just something I can never understand is that people that will sit there and rave and celebrate the accomplishments of people they don't know or will never meet, like celebrities, artists, athletes, etc. Like, there are some people that will make that their entire existence and not give a damn about their own life. There are fans of musicians that will buy their albums so that they get #1 on the charts. There are people that will make social media profiles and fan pages of another player. There are people that will watch streamers 8 hours a day and give them money, give them their attention, time, and energy so that they benefit their lives because they secretly wish that they were that person. Like, you know what, I'm gonna say it. I would rather off myself than be a spectator in someone else's life. And it's like, on a deeper level, I understand what it is. It's a form of submission, acceptance, and a form of giving up. It's accepting that I'll never achieve or even aspire to a certain level of accomplishment. Or even worse, you're afraid to even try. You know, so instead, I'll attach my identity to something or someone in which I can live through that. And bro, so many people live like this, and maybe it's okay with them, maybe it's what they're okay with. But something about that just bothers me to my core, like it's a contradiction to my existence. And I really don't say that from a position of arrogance, more so that we're all supposed to be the main character of our own lives. And that's really the point that I want to drive home, but most people aren't even the main character in their own stories. They're not even writing their own story. And when you try to tell people this, it's like their mind short circuit like an NPC. It's like if you played in an MMO game and you tried to go to one of the merchants or people giving you a quest and you try to tell them that this is not real and it's a game. It doesn't compute. There are people that will spend hours defending the legacy of LeBron James on the internet. Like, oh, he had 9 straight finals appearances, 4 championships, he has the scoring title. And it's like, okay, that's great. What about your life? Because you're basically saying that you wish you were another man. Like, if you just spent half the time you did sucking off another person's accomplishments on your own, then you wouldn't be sucking off anyone's accomplishments because you would be busy accomplishing yours. And I actually think that's a common denominator in a lot of successful people. One of my favorite channels that I like to watch is The School of Hard Knocks. It's basically where this guy goes around in big cities interviewing a bunch of millionaires, CEOs, and venture capitalists and entrepreneurs, etc. And even though they don't go too in-depth in what they actually do, there's a very clear correlation between the mindsets of all those individuals. And it's that none of them waste their time focusing on the lives of other people. Like, the common tonality they all share is that they're all sole proprietors of their own lives. The one word that kept coming to mind when I watched those interviews is agency. They're all people that have full agency over their own lives. And you could hear it in the way they talk and the things they say and their perspectives and their takes, etc. And if you want to look at this from a more nefarious point of view, there's a lot of people that would benefit at the top from the average population having less agency in their lives. I've said it before and this is no secret, like it doesn't take Einstein to point this out, but every single person in the top 1%, there's a very clear correlation in what they do, and it's having a business. Nobody ever gets generationally wealthy from salary or a job or a career. Especially in America, if you want to reach a certain level that they're at, it's all about having a business. It's all about your ability to take money from other people. It's about being able to provide a good, a product, or a service. And a lot of politicians, a lot of people in governance are great examples of this, because a senator, the secretary of state, even the president, they all make like what, 200, 300, 400K on salary. But despite that salary, all of these people, all of these politicians, from the Obamas, from the Clintons to Nancy Pelosi, all these politicians somehow leave office with tens and hundreds of millions. All these politicians end up selling some book when they leave office that they didn't even write themselves. I'm getting kind of off track, but basically what I'm trying to say is that have full agency over your own life. Don't try to live vicariously through other people or escapisms, or don't give up on your own life. And man, I do feel for a lot of people my age, because a lot of people in their mid-20s and even early 20s, a lot of people secretly feel the exact same way, but very few people actually have the right mindset, the right response. You know, where deep down inside you have that feeling of being lost, having no purpose, having no direction, and you're afraid of the future. You know, you feel like the world is collapsing and there's more distractions than ever, and a lot of people go, well, like, what am I supposed to do? And when a lot of people are in that situation, they go the opposite direction. They look for those escapisms. They submit their lives. They look to live vicariously through other people. And what you got to realize is that a lot of people who you live vicariously through, they only operate because you live vicariously through them, because you don't have full agency of your own life. The second where you have full agency over your own life and you stop focusing on theirs, they stop benefiting from you. It is in their best interest to keep you in that mental framework. You know, I have this belief that, and not to try to get too morbid or anything like that, but when we all reach our end, when we're at the end of the road, I have this theory that all the moments in your life is going to flash before you. Kind of like this highlight reel that plays, that flashes before your eyes right before you meet God. And me personally, it's like, if that highlight reel was just filled with me being a spectator and living vicariously through someone else, never going for anything, I don't know, to me that would be like the most embarrassing thing ever. It's like I'm talking to God and he's like, what happened? And I'm like, I don't know, I was just being a bitch. But yeah, hopefully you guys get what I'm trying to say. Hopefully I wasn't all over the place with this one. If you guys enjoyed the video, check out the Patreon. Got a lot of content, got a lot of reactions on there. Make sure you follow the IG. You guys can message me on there. Or if you want to talk to me one-on-one, feel free to book a call. And with that said, make sure you guys stay true. Talk to you guys real soon. And I'll see you at the top. Peace.